Hello and welcome back to Light of the Logos. This is Cameron. Today I'm going to take a little break from Islam and I'm going to just be giving my reaction to this debate that happened a while ago between the Christian Andrew Wilson and the atheist Matt Dillahunty. Now when they did their debate, Matt Dillahunty, the atheist, gave a full-on opening statement. I'm not going to play that entire thing. I'm actually just going to skip forward to the Christian Andrew Wilson's opening statement. Because what happens is while he's in the middle of giving his opening statement, Matt Dillahunty just walks out. And we're just going to take a look at it here. So let me pull this up.
Over to Andrew Wilson for 10 minutes. So thank you for being here, Andrew, and the floor is yours.
You're welcome. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Andrew Wilson. I am the host of the one and only Crucible, the fastest growing debate channel on the internet, James. Just in case you didn't know. Appreciate that very much. Appreciate everybody being here. All of you are way too stodgy in this room. Very low energy. Just wanted to let all of you know that. Ladies and gentlemen of all pronouns, the Z's, the Zers, the hims, and hers, I would like to thank you for tuning in today for this exciting in-person conference on modern day debate. My name is Andrew Wilson. There's a few ways this debate can go. The topic is Christian ethics versus secular humanism. Which has a better foundation? The funny thing is, I already won that topic because, as Matt explained to Jay Dyer, he has no justification under the skeptical belief structure to give an accounting for any meta-ethical presupposition he may have. He just kind of grants himself stuff. He grants himself logic, he grants himself reason, he grants himself an entire worldview, even though he's using an unjustified starting position for it. So I'm not honestly all that interested in doing the God not real dough debate. Because one, it's boring, and two, it's also really boring. It goes like this. I don't see enough evidence and remain unconvinced there's a God. Then I say, but you use a theistic worldview of justification like there is a God to grant yourself logic and everything else. So instead of that, I'm just going to grant Matt's entire worldview. 2/3 or more of this entire planet are all operating inside of a shared delusion that they were created by a sky daddy who loves him some slavery and murderousness. He thinks it's funny to kind of cosmically with people. That's his deal, kind of his whole thing. That's Matt's worldview. So now Matt's right, and the question becomes, should we let them to continue to believe in this nonsensical Stone Age madness, or do we stop them from engaging in it? My contention is, even if God isn't real at all, that people acting as though he is still superior to whatever nonsensical, egalitarian worldview Matt can come up with.
What's funny to me is a lot of these prominent atheists, such as Matt Dillahunty and Alex O'Connell and many others, they spend like virtually 90% of their time talking about God, talking about theology, talking about theism, talking about the Bible in particular. It's hilarious to me that they spend all their time talking about God nonstop.
See, Matt also just acts as though the things he believes are true. He believes, and therefore acts as though logic is real, math is real. Everything is real based on his presuppositional belief that they are real. You see, human flourishing, the cornerstone of Matt's ideology and that of secular humanism, is totally meaningless. Flourishing by whose metric? From my perspective, for instance, attempting to lie to people who claim men can be women isn't human flourishing.
The Christian here, Andrew Wilson, is going to get into the issue of transgenderism, and he's going to press Matt on it. He's going to be exposing Matt Dillahunty, exposing his inconsistency as someone who claims to be rational. And what's also fascinating, and I saw this a long time ago when I saw Matt Dillahunty debating Dinesh D'Souza, I didn't realize that Matt Dillahunty was giving himself over to the irrationality of believing that men can be women and women can become men.
Right up to this point, you've been invoking science, right?
Yeah.
And suddenly, science is trumped by psychology.
No.
Yes.
No.
Yes, because according to you, now your gender is not a fact in the natural world.
Correct.
Your gender.
Your genetic sex and what your chromosomes are, those are facts, but your gender is a social construct.
I was shocked and surprised to find that Matt Dillahunty, claiming to be a humanist, claiming to come from this supposed great history, coming out of the age of enlightenment, coming out of the age of reason, even coming out of all of that, using your reasoning faculties to such an extent as he has, and he is a very sharp man, but even then, it's not enough. There is still an issue of the spiritual condition that occurs when we are hostile towards our Creator. Reason eventually will get thrown out the window of a moving car when we are simply hostile to our Creator. As neo-Gnosticism and neo-Hinduism, a blurring together of distinctions is occurring in our society right now. A blurring together of male and female is occurring in our society right now. A willful giving ourselves over to the depravity of gaslighting ourselves and lying to ourselves and believing that that's okay based on an emotional appeal. We're going to see that Matt Dillahunty's reason and logic in this one particular area is going to get thrown out the window of a moving car. Sad to say, I believe him and his wife were divorced, and I believe now he has a transgender boyfriend or girlfriend. I can't remember which is the case. Even as rational and logical as Matt is in so many ways, even begin to forsake his own rationality and logic when it comes to this particular issue. And there's no other way to explain it other than the fact that it is a spiritual condition.
Why should the collective of humanity lie and say men can get pregnant? Why should they say that men can have periods? Things which are categorically and obviously false. That preserving homosexuality in society is good for human flourishing, even though they are reproductive dead ends. And that Western society and egalitarianism is superior to those evil theist society, even though the Western nations can't even reproduce their own populations, but instead have to replace their population with foreigners from those theist nations that can reproduce. Let's start with a basic societal question recently asked of the West, who has now embraced a scientific and non-theistic approach to governing. Super basic question every kindergartner knows. If you don't believe me, go watch Kindergarten Cop. The question posed to the Western nation is, can a man be a woman? Right? To the question of if a man can be a woman, they say the answer is yes. And the way we will decree they can be a woman is by simply saying that woman now means male. Problem solved. Thank you, secular humanists. Thank you so much. Nope, not kidding.
After watching Matt Dillahunty's debate with Dinesh D'Souza over transgenderism and seeing that here you have an atheist who's very sharp, very gifted with rhetoric, very gifted with speaking, yet being irrational, illogical when it comes to this new age, neo-Hindu, neo-pagan, neo-Gnostic blurring of distinctions.
Now we've established that you're willing to take Bob and Steve at their word on what their names are, on what their gender is, on what their pronouns are, and that you would refer to them respectfully without investigating their genome, without knowing what their chromosomes are, without investigating gametes, without looking at a driver's license, without looking at a passport. For anything that you need to interact with, for anything that makes any difference to you, what they tell you is what it is. Thanks for calling.
Blurring of male and female in our modern society, which happened overnight. And if you look back 10 years ago, you can see where it's coming from. If you go back 20 years ago, you can see where it's coming from. You go back 30, 40, 50 years ago, go back 100 years, go back 200 years, go back 300 years. You can see how we are on that trajectory to where when we do away with the creator-creation distinction, we push God out, we do away with our Judeo-Christian principles, but ultimately doing away with Christ and becoming antichrist and no longer worshiping our Creator, the triune God of Scripture, and we no longer serve Christ, worship Christ, are led by Christ on an individual and corporate level, and we foolishly believe that we can be like Indiana Jones and replace the bag and think that the giant ball is not going to come chasing us. So with all of this happening, and to believe that we will be able to somehow maintain and sustain rationality and logic and morality as we have under the Judeo-Christian framework, you can see that even with Matt Dillahunty, that's not possible. And when I watched the Dinesh D'Souza debate, I realized that this is probably one of the most glaring examples that the secular experiment has failed.
Why, you ask, would people be this over the top stupid? Well, it's simple. The good is the good, man. We have to do what's good for human society and human flourishing. And if you don't call these deranged lunatics something they obviously aren't, they might self-terminate. So in order to avoid that, we need to make everybody on planet Earth lie to them. This is human flourishing. Just redefine shit, pretend it's true. How laughably absurd this worldview is. Matt will often say, I remain unconvinced. Well, Matt, I'm also going to use your standard. I need for you to 100% convince me beyond a shadow of a doubt that males can have babies. What's the answer going to be? No, Andrew, you big stupid. Males can't have babies. Men can have babies. Because we just defined man to include females, dummy. Well, Matt, I remain unconvinced. I'd like Matt to convince me that if you are a male and you are having sex with another male, which would not be allowed in my version of a secular humanist worldview, how is it that you're not just basically having sex with a guy with a wig on? I really want to know the answer to that question. Not just me, but all rational people who aren't lunatics also want to know why "it's ma'am" isn't a complete and total crock of garbage. Because I remain unconvinced that it isn't a total lie, and that these people don't just pervert the language to include their own perversions and then add human flourishing at the end. Matt has said he wouldn't make a law stopping 9-year-olds from having sex with each other. Not kidding. Now, I know this is going to sound a little bit totalitarian, but I would in fact create laws that made it a crime for a 9-year-old to have sex with their 9-year-old. I would hold the parents criminally liable for allowing this to happen in my evil authoritarian society, where I don't even let 9-year-olds have sex, or the parents go straight to jail for negligence. Now, I think that's better for human flourishing. I think maybe parents would be far less likely to let their 9-year-olds do that if they went to jail. Stupid me. Next, I would in my authoritarian society decree that all simulated sex acts in public were criminal offenses, and would make sure that all people went to prison for the crime of indecency, which doesn't assist with human flourishing, and I'd like to know why I'm wrong. Secular humanism can basically be whatever the hell you want it to be. It doesn't really need the principle of freedom or the starting axiom of freedom and peace in order to postulate whatever it wants. It's sloganeering. They're slogans. They don't mean anything. Okay, why do 9-year-olds need to be able to have sex in order to advance humanity? Why do we need to lie about a person's sex in order to advance humanity? Why are these things necessary for human flourishing? Why are decency laws bad? Why would Christian ethics stop flourishing when the theist mandate is to reproduce, and the secular mandate is let's just all have sex and have fun, bro? That sounds way worse for human flourishing. In fact, I would say not reproducing is the worst possible thing for human flourishing, because if there's no humans, how do you flourish? So I guess, in essence, step 1, I remain unconvinced. Step 2, I need to be convinced, so I am no longer unconvinced. And step 3, but God not real dough doesn't matter here. I've already granted it to still demonstrate just how stupid this ideology actually is. With that, I'll yield my time, and I'm happy to get into it.
Hey, James, I just sent you a message.
All right. We are going to kick it into an open discussion. So 50 minutes. And
So now he's about to walk out because he realizes he's been called out on his glaring inconsistency, which he can't defend. He can't defend how men can be women and women can be men.
I'm not going to sit here and dignify the preparation that I went through
So he's going to try to take the moral high road.
and what people work here for.
You're so indignant.
Keep interrupting me.
I am.
Okay.
You're so indignant.
Would the moderator like to step in so that I can finish what I'm saying?
Please, Matt. Please. How dare someone have an opposing worldview?
I'm not going to sit here and dignify what was supposed to be a debate about Christianity versus secular humanism, which one's better for the world,
Yes.
with someone who clearly showed up with an agenda that has nothing to do with that.
I just like
Someone who refers to trans people as deranged lunatics who will self-terminate if you dare to question them.
How am I wrong, Matt?
Someone who misrepresents a quote from a debate where I said I wouldn't make a law about 9-year-olds having sex being legal with respect to the 9-year-olds, not that I was in any way in favor of it and that I was actually opposed to it, which I addressed during that debate. But moreover, this is not remotely an honest interaction on the front of whether or not secular humanism is valuable. Because this, when he presented his position here, has nothing to do with secular humanism.
It does. It does have everything to do with secular humanism. Because again, it's replacing belief in God and worship of God and understanding the creator-creation distinction. It's replacing that like Indiana Jones does. Believing that we can uphold, sustain, and maintain moral principles, logic, and reason apart from our Creator, apart from acknowledgement of our Creator, and apart from worship of our Creator, the Lord Jesus Christ. We cannot do it, and we will not do it. And it's only a matter of time before the ball rolls down and tries to kill us and destroy us. And we are seeing it. We are living in the time where we have peered over the edge and we have jumped over the cliff and we are now in free fall. And we are witnessing before our eyes in our very day and age is that we now believe that men can be women and women can be men. And even atheists, as much as they want to brag and try to boast about the age of enlightenment, about the age of reason, delivering us from all these theistic and Christian superstitious beliefs and ideas, the age of reason came along and saved us and rescued us. And we now realize that that is a giant joke, a giant myth, because all the age of reason has eventually done, which Nietzsche predicted, is allow us to realize how foolish we are to think that we can live in God's universe without God, that we can uphold, maintain, and sustain truth and morality apart from the triune God by which truth and morality ultimately derive from. And the evidence that we cannot do that is that we have given ourselves over, as Romans 1 says we will do, we have made ourselves creaturely. The more we distance ourselves from our Creator, the more we blur distinctions, and the more we become creaturely, the more we make ourselves lower to the ground. And when we make ourselves lower to the ground, more animalistic, we even begin to go insane and believe that men can become women and that women can become men. That is what secular humanism has now led us to.
Get-go, it's all about me. Matt thinks. I'm given what Matt thinks. What Matt thinks. What Matt thinks.
Position.
What Matt
It's
thinks.
Matt's position.
I
It's Matt's
came in
position.
with the Secular Humanist Manifesto. I came in with positions that aren't
They're your
just
positions.
that aren't merely my positions.
Oh, well, as long as multiple people hold the position, it
This
makes it
guy's
valid.
not serious, and I'm leaving. James, if you want a refund, you
Well,
let me know.
good day, sir.
No, he is serious. He's 100% serious. You're not serious. Matt Dillahunty believes that secular humanism can take us somewhere. But where has it taken us? It's taken us to insanity, to where we are now justifying, based on appeal to emotion, based on a doing away with the creator-creation distinction, based on being okay with blurring distinctions between things. Secular humanism has now led us to believe that men can become women and that women can become men.
But your gender is a social construct.
That's where secular humanism has led us to.
And I'll cover your refund, Mr.
Cool.
Matt.
He just said he'd cover my
I
refund.
would cover his refund.
No. Nope. Nope. No, I'm not going to dignify a debate with someone who walked in to trash talk people and be smug.
Matt Dillahunty has been trash talking people, especially Christians, for decades. He has been so smug for decades.
See how much easier this is if you just answer the question you're asked instead of thinking that you're smarter than the person you're talking to when you're not?
Pronoun.
Pay the attention. I went through this pronoun thing 3 times already.
Now he's trying to pretend that he's some grand, dignified atheist or something because I'm a secular humanist and we have dignity. This is a complete farce.
And all of the things that he's being right now, he's already said he will cover my expense. You don't have anything to worry about. This debate is over. Goodbye,
Goodbye.
jackass.
Did you call me a jackass, Matt? Well, you and your husband have a good day, man. Have a wonderful day, Matt. Yeah. Yeah. No, that was fine. I mean, if you're going to take a parting shot, I will too, Matt. Yeah.
The thing is, my parting shot's correct.
No, your parting shot's correct? Oh, man, tough crowd. Tough crowd.
I am sorry about that. And we do appreciate you coming. So, is Andrew, like, when you call people lunatics, it, like, that does come off as
The presentation of a correct worldview.
So, but at the same time, I can't help that Matt left. Like, I would like Matt to refute and explain to Andrew, like, hey, here's why calling people lunatics isn't an argument, and this is intellectually lowbrow. But I can't help that Matt left.
No, that's not necessarily the argument. The argument is that secular humanism has led to lunacy.
It seems like you lost the debate. It seems like you didn't have an argument to begin with. So I'd like to know. So
because I fled the debate stage?
Yeah, where's your degree in psychology to understand?
You know that comedy movie Kung Pao, the guy with the squeaky shoes. All they did was make it through their opening dialogues or their opening monologues, and the atheist leaves, and he's claiming victory for the atheist.
I'm bleeding, making me the victor.
Do you need a degree in psychology to know what a man and a woman are, sir?
Well, apparently you need.
Hold on.
Just
Please.
We're doing.
Like, I'm serious. I'm going to toss people if this gets out of hand. Seriously. I don't care. I will carry you out myself. So keep self-control. Okay. Andrew, you have to let them ask the question.
Okay.
Pissed off everybody.
Okay, fair enough.
Including me. Like,
For what?
You have to let them actually ask their question. Like,
Okay.
That's fair.
Okay, fair. Go ahead.
Probably being personal. So I didn't hear an argument against secular humanism. I'm not necessarily on board with everything with the
You weren't listening.
secular humanist manifesto. What specifically about the manifesto that he talked about do you find troubling?
It's all lies. It's literally based on non-reality being subjectively interpreted as whatever you want. You can make bold claims.
Specific, please.
I'm giving you a specific one. If you, sir, believe that a man can be a woman and you can think that you can gaslight the entirety, are you going to let me answer the question or no?
Go ahead.
If you want to try to gaslight the entirety of humankind, that this falsehood actually exists in descriptive reality, and then say, well, that's science, and we rule with science, we rule with our mind, we rule with our brain, that's absurd. It's absurd. How in the world can you want a doctrine like that to run your life?
What we see here is, again, Matt Dillahunty's followers. I guarantee you they're having a really hard time with him right now. They have followed him for so long. They're hanging on by a thread at this point because they've been following him for so long. He's championed and helped them justify their unbelief in God for so long. But now it's getting kind of hard. Now it's like, Matt, I don't know if I can go there with you. Okay, all this weird stuff about men can be women and women can become men. Yeah, I didn't know we were going to go that direction. I thought we were the logical ones. I thought we were the rational ones. Like, I'm not really trekking here with you. I'm not sure I'm going to go down this route. And you can see that they're so discombobulated here. And they can't just outright admit, yeah, men aren't women. Women aren't men. I don't know what Matt's talking about. They're trying to somehow cram the square peg in the round hole. Maintain being a faithful follower of Matt Dillahunty's. Yet you can see that they just don't know what to do with this whole men can become women, women can become men thing, because they give no response to any of it.
Where is that in the secular humanist manifesto?
He has no...
Matt believes it. It's his worldview as a humanist. He justifies that position as a humanist.
I would say mostly for the protection of women. It's not that men.
Yeah, trans women are women.
Okay, but I'm not. Look.
Come around there,
Just
buddy.
a final question. So what's it? Is it true that the topic today was, will secular humanism beat Christianity, or was
No.
it about transgender?
No. The topic today was secular humanism versus Christian ethics. Christians have an ethical duty to tell the truth. And they, the secular humanist, does not. As I just demonstrated live to everybody, they have absolutely no duty to tell anybody the truth about anything. None.
Well, I think everybody can see on screen what the debate topic is, and what he said was not the truth.
It says, no, that was not the debate topic even just an hour ago. Even just an hour ago, that was not the debate topic, so...
To be fair, that is a question, regarding to the debate. But we will carry on the questions there.
Given that this clearly wasn't the topic and you've been bodied on the issue before, including by Nominal Naomi a year ago, why not
That dude got wrecked
on a new topic instead?
Okay, so first of all, I literally went through and said, these people have no justification for their beliefs at all. Could have gone after that. I went on to further explain, here's how I can demonstrate that they have no justification for any of their claims. Here's how I can demonstrate they don't have truth on their side. Because I can show an example in real time of these people completely and totally lying to you.
Yeah, I'm going to end it there. I could go on and on and on. This video's already gone on long enough. But we're going to end it on this point. That is what he did. And that's why I wanted to watch this video, because this should be shocking to people on many different levels. It should give you hope, ultimately, that the secular experiment has failed. And as Andrew Wilson just said here, and it's true, he demonstrated it before everybody. He demonstrated it to everyone in that room who was there, who witnessed Matt walking out. And he's demonstrated it through the entire world, because now it's on the internet for everyone in the world to see. It's been demonstrated to the world that the secular experiment has failed, because it is a worldview that eventually takes you to the place to where you are okay with lying. Not just being okay with lying, but you are okay also with believing lies. You're okay with lying, telling lies, such as men can be women and women can become men, and you're okay with believing those lies, and you're okay with enforcing those lies upon everybody else. An complete altering of reality. Again, this is what happens when you do away with the creator-creation distinction, when you do away with the worship of the true, eternal, triune God, the Lord Jesus Christ, the eternal Logos. You begin to blur distinctions. Everything becomes one. Men become women, women can become men. Everything becomes meshed together. There's no good and evil. Everything is permissible. So you have witnessed, and we are witnessing right now, the secular experiment failing. It's not that God is dead. Secularism is dead. And God is alive and well. And I'll leave it at that. Let me go ahead and turn this off. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope this review was helpful, and I will hopefully make a new video soon, and we'll see you on the next one. God bless. Take care. Thanks for watching.